Welcome back everybody, welcome back to another Hydroneer. Yes, I'm standing in my claim, and yes, there is a truck here full of the stuff we bought. But no, it's not the truck you would think it is. Well, it is our truck, but I fixed it basically. The community and the development team could not help my issue, sadly. They chose to offer me a way to hack the game by editing save files and editing the game itself by literally despawning the entire truck and such. And I did not recommend doing it because I do not like to basically cheat a way into my game. Because, well, basically it is a fix, so it's not directly cheating. But it works against my feelings to edit a game save in order to get a better, basically fix something that's broken, which means I broke it. I made a mistake. I now also know what the mistake is that I made. I put something in here and it was stuck in the wheel. Strange enough, as soon as something gets into the wheel of this truck, it basically acts like a launch pad and launches the truck, and the truck tries to correct itself, which it goes to spinning mode. It doesn't stop spinning. Now, the way I fixed it without cheating, as I call it, it maybe sounds weird, but I really did it over and over and over, respawned my truck over and over and over, until I finally got it close enough to the ground to get the pieces out that were causing the issue. I emptied out the whole truck and refilled it up again. So basically I redid the whole truck. And the end conclusion is that my truck is working again. Although I sadly think that the truck is now a little bit wonky at driving. At least it was before I reloaded the game. My game crashed like 7 times. Trying to get it to start again. Because it had problems with the truck, of course. And last time, after the recording, I first wanted to contact the devs. The developer itself and his team. To find a solution. Well, if you want to find a solution, you can ask them. But you will not always get the answer you want. They certainly did not have any answer to solve this matter. Even worse, they just said, well, hack your game to its working state. Okay, not something I would expect from a developer or a team to say to me. I would more say like, okay, there is an issue, let's try to solve it together, you know? Like support as you would trust it to be. Instead of support that literally points back to you and says, look up it yourself and fix it yourself. Well, anyways, the ramp here is pretty much fixed. I now know what's wrong, so it shouldn't happen again, at least not in my opinion. We need a lot more foundations, I can see that one for sure. Since these all are one row and we need like a big frame to drive a car on, so... And I wanted more back, so this whole right side, I want to make that one the factory entrance, basically. So we need a lot more walls, but I think I will do the walls separately from the floor area. Everything is still here as we left it, so that's a good thing. So I recommend driving back to the city and then give it another go. As you can see, the truck is driving, but it's doing some weird jiggling when I drive backwards. Like that. I drove above a dirt cloth, and normally it skips the dirt cloth, and now it just hangs on it and launches itself up. There is nothing left in the wheels, so that's something I know for sure. But if you drive forward, it's drive normally. So I think that jiggling is something I did wrong or something. Maybe the backwards driving is changed. No clue. Did I just make a ramp there? Yep, they did make a ramp there. Why did I put a ramp into the game? There's no motorcycle. Only a very big lumpy truck to drive with. Anyways, in this episode I will hope Whoa, 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 whoa. How did that end up here? I think that's still from the launch. Lol. The car moves, that thing. I also got the advice to jump when I play something. Well, I was already doing that mostly, but sadly not good enough. So we need a lot of these foundations. So yeah, I think this is a part where I need to walk a lot of times. Back and forth to the car, and hopefully get enough of these foundations. They are easy to put in. I can say, however, the developer is working on an update where the trucks get a revamp, which make them a little bit wider, which makes it easier to place bigger foundations like the big square foundation. It also makes it a lot easier to move like wall panels and such, because they have more place to settle. So yeah, well that's thing basically. And what I'm trying to think of now is how I want to go to the belts in the base later on, because the belts are something those are gonna move the dirt from the basically the mining drill and our own mining, of course, to where I want it to be. So because you can shovel your own buckets and then instead of cleaning it manually, put it into the harvest thingy. Harvest, I believe that it's called. If you do the harvester, it gives the same output, they say, as the normal one. And I really want to try that one out. So, in a few moments when we drive back, I want to make a test bucket, like 4 or 5 buckets that I do myself, and throw them on a running belt with the harvester enabled, and see if we get the same output as a normal cleaning. If so, we do not have ever to clean those things again and do weird stuff. We can let the system do its job and put it into the buckets and directly melt it, so that we get a lot more at the same time. So basically we dig, empty the bucket, dig, empty the bucket, and so it goes way faster. And that's where the revamp of the base will come quite handy. Because we want to make a full system that if we throw dirt on a belt into the garage, on the side of the garage, we want to make sure that that dirt will get caught, will brought up to the grinder, because I want to make a double grind thingy thing, so it prevents basically the dirt from being small. I want to make a bigger drop, so as soon as the dirt is grinded, I want to make a hole like at least 1 block down, so it has some time to fall to the middle of the hole instead of directly on the edge. Because I was researching why we get a clot of dirt that is increasing in size as long as I run the system. And when I look at it, I can see that the system itself is working flawlessly, but because on the end it needs to roll in the hole, sometimes a big chunk makes 2 smaller chunks, and if the chunk, one of the 2 smaller chunks, is rolling a little bit slow, they touch each other and make one bigger one. Normally that shouldn't be a problem, but if there are more and more coming up and stacking on each other, the end result is basically a clot that's too big for the hole. It hangs and it starts ramping up everything. And you need to clear it at that point, but if you have no attention or do not see it happening, it goes quite fast from bad to worse. And basically making a lot of mess around with dirt. I did, however, in between the episodes, clean up many of the dirt clots. They are in those cooking pans, and I made bars of them and put them in the storage. I don't think there is any problem with that. So yeah, it took me like 2 hours to get it all back on working state, and I hope I have never to do that again. Because it was a pain, really a pain to get the truck close to the ground. Because it was spinning endlessly weird. And every time differently. There was no circulation or basically things that are structural the same when it flips out. There was no way to tell when it's near the ground. Because it rolls so fast, I cannot see the ground. So I eventually made a stopwatch and set it to like 3 seconds. And every time I click respawn, I counted 3 seconds and then jump out of the car. The end result was a car that stops at different points. It took a lot of attempts from that way, the time that I just said, to get the right position where I could pick up everything. There was one position like 10 minutes after I started, but I think this is gonna be it. But I couldn't reach the part that was stuck in the wheel. It was at the back here and a little bit out of this area into this part of the wheel. So yeah, I was working very hard to get that one unstuck, but it didn't work out. So I retried all the way until I got it working again. I tried also the save file editor. I did load it up and did look at it, but it only works if your car is still on the ground or near ground. And if you are flying in the air, it doesn't count the car anymore. I did see the car on the list of assets that were in the game. However, I could not delete it, move it, or edit it at all because it said out of bounds or something. I have no idea what that meant, but at least it did say it, so I was a little bit scared to do anything else. I think this is enough for now. The car doesn't flip out and launches itself like last time, because this time I watched what I did when I put it in. I do like the new steering mechanism. If you go backwards and then turn, it turns way better than before. At least I can notice it. So that's a good thing. The developer does listen to it, people. So I really like this developer. He's open-minded and open for suggestions. And he is now implementing a lot of suggestions by people. I do really like it. Although I have to say one thing. I do like the way the stock markets work, but I wonder what the max and minimum margins are for the stock market. That way you can do a little bit of thinking instead of just buying things or selling things based on a price. I do agree that the stock market goes up and down, but what's the normal value? You never see it. You have to focus on walking backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards in order to notice how much it's worth. You need to make a lot of calculations to get that one going. Well, at least this foundation is doing its job. It looks flawlessly. I really like these panels. I do need a lot more than those bigger wooden panels, but I really like this design of these ones because it makes a flat floor, and if you work something into the floor, you can see it literally into the floor. You cannot see holes in it or a hollow ground underneath it because it's basically a solid block. So if you see a hollow ground and you have a machine in it, things can go underneath the floor. And then you need to pick up the floor every time you do something. And that can cause a lot of issues later on. If you are having a lot of dirt, for example, that gets underneath it, it can glitch out and generate huge chunks stuck in the ground, making you lag what should I reference it to? A rocket with motor troubles. Jet troubles. Thruster troubles. Well, I think at least the width must be 5 or 6. Dang, we need a lot of these things. Well, we did purchase a lot of these things, but we are going through them also very fast. Well, they are very cheap to buy, I must say that one. Let me just drive the car a little bit backward. So I can also make a reference for myself how big it must be. And of course I chose a place with a lamppost. Okay, well, never mind. Whoa, leg spike. This is wide enough for the truck, but I want it a little bit wider so I can walk next to it. No, one more. I also need to place a belt near the wall, so I think this is the wide area that I want it to be. And I have no idea what side the dirt comes out of the digger again. Is it left or right? I have no idea. But so I need to take a look at the digger. But well, we need to go back, get some more foundation soon. So if we get more foundations, I can directly take a look at the new digger thingy thing and what side the dirt gets shoot out of. So I can remove some floor pieces and place belt pieces instead of the floor pieces. And I wonder if I make it a little bit lower or if I keep it at the same height as the floor does. It is dirt, so yeah. There we go. I also want to make a sorter into the system so that when the dirt goes in, the dirt goes its own path and the other stuff another path. So that if I have some loosely minerals somewhere, I can also put it on the belt and get sorted out. We have a lot of sorting systems. We have even one more than we needed before, so I think we have enough sorters to get that one working. A lot of foundations are placed down. Well, it's worth it. We are out of foundations again. There we go. It's white area. I need my hammer so I can hammer it down. And I was thinking about bringing back some pipes, but I also thought about why you bring something back if you need to use it later on. There we go. It all goes into the unpickable tier. There we go. Now I wonder if I drive backwards on this one. Yep, it does it. It's a little bit slippery. Well, I need to take a look on how deep I want to make it. The garage, basically, because I want to make sure that if we drive in it, no, whew, that we also can get out of it. Man, that was a close one. I almost drove off the bridge. Of course, I'm taking the hill as a road. Man, I'm terrible at driving with the truck. I'm so terrible at driving with the truck. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going too fast again. Let me take a look. We are almost out of fuel, so the next time I'm ending at my base, I really need to take a look at the other side. Anyways, this is the gigantic digger, and as I can see, it's wider than the truck. So what that means that my docking bay needs to be a lot bigger. The also thing that I can see is that it dumps out the dirt on the right side of it. The question is, do we drive forward into the bay or backward? I do see that the watering tank, basically the tank where you put things in, is on the right side of it. Man, it's a big thing. Yeah, or we do not build that and just make a watering bay for now. And make the bigger bay for this truck on the field where we also do the digging. Or next to the field that we also do the digging at. It's possible that otherwise we need to drive the digger all the way to this post. Wow, there is not much space for such a big vehicle. I did not even notice that the size was such a huge one. So I think that the current garage we are working on will be only for the normal truck. And that we will make a belt and such there, so we can put things in on the side of the building. I want to do the test, of course. That's the one I forgot to do. Well, anyways, I think this is it for now. I will purchase a lot more foundation, and when I get back in the next episode, I will be back at the base with all the foundations that I purchased. Hopefully it will then be enough that I purchased. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Good luck!